Kaboom! Welcome back to the channel. Listen, this is not a competition. I shouldn't have to say it, but for all the time I've ever heard, there are absolutely no benefits for men to marry nowadays. Look, here's one benefit. Married men get way more respect than single men. I shouldn't have to say it. And it's not a competition between married and single men. But for all the time I read that in the comment section in all these videos, and for people saying that there's no benefit in marriage nowadays, it's simply not true. One benefit is that married men get far more respect than single men. I'm Gray Kennedy. Welcome to the channel. Please consider subscribe, like the video so others can receive this message. I know this is not pandering information for men, and it's not pandering information for women either. It's simply the truth. In this channel, I want to pander to the truth. Something that suits my conscience, and I know I can present factual information to support what I am saying. Married men receive far more respect than single men. Before I get into the details, I would like you to do a little exercise with me. You'll need a blank sheet of paper. Fold it in quarters. Hot dog first and then crossways. And what I have 4 sections. On one section I put my community or my village. So you can do this, right? Your community or your village. We want to make a list of the 5 most respected or admired men in your community. It can be from just your perspective, the 5 men who you admire or respect the most in your community. Now I know there are some people who say, I don't respect married men. Even the folks who are saying that, they don't really mean it. Sometimes their boss is a married person. And they have to show some respect. From time to time, they have to show some respect. They simply have no choice. Even the guys who are independent contractors. Yes. So, in this exercise, just to find out who gets most respect. This is like an individual survey or questionnaire, if you like. So here in this corner is whether you live in a lane or a village or a community or a development, doesn't matter. 5 most respected men. And then across I have, because we're taking it from the micro to the macro. So you can have your community first, and then on the other side, you can have your state or your municipality or your parish, depending on where you live, which country you're from, or wherever you stay and see this. Okay? So parish, county, your city, something like that. 5 most respected men in your state, or your community or your municipality. And then let's move on to country. 5 most respected or admired people in your country. And then the last one, 5 most respected people or admired people in the world. So 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay? You can do this later on, or you can pause the video and do it. Now, I realize that this is not as easy as I thought it would be. Because I just realized after trying to do this that I actually don't know the people in my community. I have neighbors and I wave to them, but we have never really had a conversation. That's the type of world we're living in. So I understand if you think, I don't really know the people in my community. But think of the people who you know and admire. And that's what I did. And the 5 people who I came up with, four of the people are married, and the person who is not married is actually one of my mentor, who is in his 70s, his latter part of his 70s, but he was married for 47 years until his wife died. Point I'm making is this: it doesn't matter where you live. I think it's likely, if you're objective, that the people who will be on your list likely to be married men. Okay? If you do the one in your country, I think it's very chance that you're probably going to put your president, maybe some other popular figures, and they're likely to be married again. Maybe they're not, but if these people are above 30 and they're successful, they're doing well, they're intelligent, I think there's a great chance they'll get married in the next 5 years, even though we live in a society where being single is becoming more fashionable. But I still think it's a good chance that person who you admire or respect and they're doing very well, if they're over 30, there's a good chance in the near future, just watch that space, it's a very good chance that they will get married. Okay, so that's very important to remember. These married men in your community or in your wider community usually get more respect, more admiration. And of course, as it relates to the world, I googled that myself, and some names keep popping up as it relates to, I looked at different lists of people who are admired or respected. So some of the women who came up on the list, surprisingly, some of them were single. So for instance, Oprah came up on the list. Oprah is single. At the point I'm doing this, the Queen, her husband died, but I wouldn't even classify her as single. Michelle Obama came up on the list. I saw on one list Angelina Jolie, surprisingly. I think she's single. She was married for a while. But the only person that came up on the list that was never ever married, as from the female side I can remember, is Oprah. On the male side, there are names like Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Bill Gates. Oh yeah, Melinda Gates was one of the ladies that came up as well as somebody who's admired. But the idea is this exercise shows that these men get a lot more respect than single men. Most lists you will find most of the people there are married. Okay? But as it relates to respect, guys, I've heard people saying the strongest argument usually that single men get more respect. They always point to the fact that if you watch comedies and if you do this, you will recognize that married men are constantly mocked or jeered or stuff like that. I have no doubt that probably happen. But as someone who doesn't consume too much television, that doesn't really mean much to me. It's a very weak argument, I would say. It's a weak case. If we're going to talk about respect, let's talk about what happens in real life, reality. Okay? That's what's important. The reality is that married men gets more respect. How do I know this? Because your insurance will give you more respect. At least my insurance immediately dropped my premium or my rates as soon as I got married. Okay? When you're married, the government gives you more respect in tax breaks and so forth. When you're married, hospitals give you more respect. That is without a doubt. Even if you're in a pandemic and your wife is ill or your husband is ill, if you're in the case of a female, it's very unlikely that the hospital will tell you can't go see them. And that's a privilege. So hospitals, and if they're sick and there's a decision need to be made, the husband or the wife can make that decision. But if you are a girlfriend or a common law wife or husband, you don't get to make that decision. It's out of your hand. You have very little power. The hospital doesn't respect the fact that you have been sleeping with this person for the past 15 years. The hospital is going to say, oh well, you're not married. So I'm saying in real life, we're talking about respect. Come on. You know, other institutions, certain positions, people prefer people who are married. It denotes or connotates a level of stability. Some people may say that is not necessarily true, you know, but that's why I say it. You know who else to respect married people more than single people? Single people respect married people more than single people. Single people respect married people generally more than single people. They respect the stability, and they usually can say it if they're being objective. And married people usually give more respect to married people than single people. So I think it's an easy case to make, and I don't want to call it so much a case because I'm not trying to persuade anyone. I'm putting the information out there to inform. For all the times I hear this nonsense, look, so many times I call BS on it, straight up, saying that single people, married men don't get any respect. Which world do you live in? Come on. Guys, I would like to hear from you though. Go straight into the comment section and tell me what you think. And also tell me what you thought of the activity. Did you do it? Did you find respect more single men that you respect than married men? That would be very interesting for me to find out. Peace.